So we got Colston Loveland, a quarterback. Let's get a quarterback for Brock Bowers right now. We're going to take Carson Beck here to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think we didn't even play on that. That works just perfect.
I was eyeing it the whole time, saying, okay, who's going to take a quarterback? Is there anyone? And I didn't see anyone, and this worked out perfectly.
I didn't even think about that. That's spectacular.
They needed to. They got it. They got to get a quarterback. And Carson Beck falling in their lap here at 21, I think is a steal. I love this fit for Las Vegas. And listen, with Davante Adams now requesting a trade, there's an argument for a Emeka Egbuka or a receiver here, because without Davante Adams, they desperately need a receiver. But quarterback is a way bigger need because it's the most important position on the field, and you do not have a good quarterback right now in Vegas. So Carson Beck, I think you have to take him here. He's a high floor player. I think he's going to be a really solid player. He's going to really just be like a Jared Goff type of quarterback in the league, where if you have a good team around him, he'll be really good. Jared Goff just went 18 for 18 on Monday Night Football. But if a team's not great around him, then he might not look so great. So Vegas really, after taking Carson Beck, should be attacking the offense after this. But I think Carson Beck here at 21 is too much of value for them, and they need to find a quarterback. Antonio Pierce is not going to have that many more years if he cannot find a quarterback, and I think Carson Beck here is the obvious pick for them.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I don't think you could have done much better there than Beck, and I know he's moved down the board a little bit right now, but you look at a team that needs a quarterback and a guy who, with Bowers, a familiarity, and yes, if they're going to trade Adams, but they're gonna get some significant draft capital back, and we're seeing this every year. There's more and more receivers that come out in the draft. They can find more receivers. They took Troy Franklin. They still have Cortland Sutton. They still want to run the ball. And sorry, I'm moving ahead to Denver. Sorry, I should say they still have Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer and guys like that. I just think you're talking about a team that isn't that far away.
Yeah. If they lose Davante, they got to move to like 22 personnel as like their default offense, right?
For now, yeah.
Or like 12 personnel.
Yeah, but then you go and find maybe even in the later rounds in this draft. I mean, you take some. There's a lot of good receivers in this year's draft still. I mean, every year this wide receiver thing, it's like, man, there's 4 rounds worth of guys who can be productive. So I'm with you with them trading Adams, get draft capital, take Carson Beck. I even wonder with Adams if there's a scenario where he could do like a first-round pick swap or something, but it's hard. It's hard to do during the year. So I just think that's a good move. I think Carson Beck getting back with Brock Bowers, that's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right, now I get to Denver because I was getting ahead of myself here. Look, I need weapons. I think now this pick is pretty obvious when I look at it. Denver right now, lowest graded offense in football, lowest receiving grade in football, struggling to get the ball down the field. Let's take a guy at wide receiver who can help us, who's having a bounce-back year after kind of a tough year last year. He looks 100%. He looks like he's got that burst back. I'll take Emeka Egbuka for Denver at 22. I just think they need – now I get ahead to Cortland Sutton and whatever else and Troy Franklin, what I was getting at, because I was getting ahead of the pick. I was like, oh, I already know what I'm doing now. But, they needed this. They need weapons. They need to get Bo Nix some help all around on offense. Look, they've won the last 2 weeks, but they really won on defense. Get Nix some weapons. Keep improving this offense. Give him options out there. Sean Payton can keep working with it. I think Egbuka fits right in, and Denver starts right away.
That's a perfect pick because they need more receivers. And Troy Franklin weirdly has not played that much. I know he's kind of a developmental player, but it's like, I don't know. So they need some more. And Emeka Egbuka, as Franklin's a high ceiling guy, Emeka Egbuka is a high floor guy. As a guy that's immediately just going to get open for Bo Nix. Also, Bo Nix, a guy who loves to attack underneath. That's Emeka Egbuka. He's going to win in short intermediate. I think this is one of the best fits in the entire draft, honestly, is Emeka Egbuka to Denver. So nice job there.
Are you doing it here?
I'm sprinting this card in. I'm sprinting this card in. Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's an Atlanta Falcon. If I'm Atlanta, I'd be sweating this entire draft, hoping that he falls here to them at 23. Abdul Carter is so clearly a Falcon. They have not had an athletic pass rusher like Abdul Carter, and God knows how long. It has been like a decade of Atlanta not having a good pass rush, it feels like, honestly. So Abdul Carter, high ceiling player, freak athlete, really had a slow-ish start to the season, exploded against Illinois, and they're 2 really good offensive tackles. He's a guy that's just learning how to play edge defender now. He's obviously played off-ball linebacker in his first 2 years at Penn State. Now he's playing edge defender full-time, a lot like the Micah Parsons thing, even wears the same number as Micah Parsons at Penn State. Abdul Carter is the that's the pick you have to make if you're at Atlanta. There's no other option on the board. Listen, if you like Mykel Williams more, fine, but I think it's not even close. I think Abdul Carter should be the pick here at 23.
That's a freak show, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's so good. It's ridiculous. The level of athleticism, I mean, it goes without saying how good he is. Detroit, is this Detroit here at 24? It is.
Yep.
This is tougher because they don't have a ton of weaknesses on their team.
I kind of like another edge opposite of Hutchinson here.
Yeah, I was having that thought.
And you know who is a Dan Campbell guy? He's gonna love Jack Sawyer.
I had that thought. I was like,
he would love Jack Sawyer.
There's a lot of options here. Look, Kevin Winston would be a great option for them. I think Danny Stutzman would be a good option for him.
He would love Danny Stutzman.
They've already gone linebacker in the first round once. I think Takario Davis would be a good option for them. But you know, it was a name that I was looking at it while you were talking about the Atlanta pick, and I was like, man, Jack Sawyer. I know you got one Michigan guy teeing off on one side, Ohio State guy on the other, and DJ Reed in between them, and yeah, I mean, isn't it freaky? Aiden Hutchinson is really their only legit edge player. Has 40 pressures in 4 games. It's just silly how good he is. I'm kind of, the more I think about this, I'm kind of in on it. I love Jack Sawyer as a player. First of all, as fundamentally sound as any player in the country, especially in run defense. His run D tape is a coach's clinic tape. You could show it at coach's clinics and be like, this is how you play the run.
Which Campbell's going to love.
He's going to love that. He's a physical player. Is he as gifted as Hutchinson? No, that's why he's
Mykel Williams, even
as Mykel Williams. But Jack Sawyer is just such a good football player. That's the best way I can put it. He's so fundamentally sound. Yeah, he's working on secondary moves and pass rush arsenal and stuff like that, but he's just so good. There are very few higher floor guys in this draft to me than Jack Sawyer. I actually like that idea. I'm gonna go with Jack Sawyer and put him across from Aiden Hutchinson.
Love it. This
isn't easy. There's one of two players you have to take here.
Takara is one of them, right?
Yeah, it's either Takario or Winston here. Whichever one you want, because Dan Quinn would love them both.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I mean, Mykel Williams is also on the board, but I like Takario more than Mykel Williams.
They just now,
and they need a tackle too, but I would not take a tackle.
It was better. It was better against the Cardinals, but they can't cover. That it has to me, unless you and it's Siobhan Revell tore his ACL. That obviously sucks.
No, I still Takara is a better version of Siobhan Revell even without the torn ACL.
I think this one you take one of two.
I'm gonna go with Takario Davis. I'm gonna go with him. I think he is obviously freak show at corner. Has had, like you see, there's a grades right there. Rough-ish start to the year, but then that Utah game, I mean, that grade doesn't even tell the whole story. I think it was a lot better than that grade would indicate. I mean, he was a really good game against Utah. So I like Takario Davis here. He's a guy who's a bigger corner at 6'4", 190. So it'll be a nice change of pace from Emmanuel Forbes, who obviously is one of the smallest corners in the NFL right now. And I think, yeah, like I said, they've really struggled to cover right now. I would like a tackle here if there was one. I think Wyatt Milam is really quickly becoming a first-round caliber player. I actually was watching his West Virginia tape a week ago, and he looked awesome. But I don't know if I would take him here over Takario Davis when they desperately need a corner as well. So I'm going to take Takario Davis here to the Commanders here at 25.
I dig it. I think it's a great pick. I think between him and Winston, it would have been a great pick. I've got an interesting one here with Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they need help in their front seven.
Is it Mykel Williams?
I just don't know if it's Mykel Williams though. Does he? Because it feels to me a bit redundant to Ed Oliver, and I'm trying to figure out now with the Bills. There's a weird player here that sticks out to me that I don't know if he would go in the first round. The Bills, I'm looking at this now, between Matt Milano's injuries and all of that, they so badly need a linebacker.
Oh, is it Stutzman?
Danny Stutzman vibes with Bills Mafia vibes.
Oh, yeah.
It almost makes too much sense. It's just a matter of if do I really think Stutzman's going first round?
Do they need safety?
That's the other thing I'm questioning too as I go Taylor Rapp.
Something else I will also say.
Yeah.
The Bills need a receiver. They've got Keon Coleman and then Shakir, and there doesn't really seem to be a lot else.
You go Alec.
I think a guy like Alec would be really interesting for them.
I don't see that's kind of redundant to Keon Coleman,
but I also don't see it as their biggest problem. That doesn't concern me as much. I think they could figure that out as they go because Allen's that good. I think their front seven their front seven as it currently is the biggest reason I can't pick them to win a Super Bowl. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for the vibes. I'm going to go with Stutzman.
Do it.
I just think this is one where the Bills are unpredictable because they very well, I think Eli's right. You could go at receiver. You could go. I think Kevin Winston would be a great value play there. I won't lie to you. He's a great football player. I'm shocked that he's gotten this low and he's going to go here. He's got to go in the next couple of picks here, right? I mean, he just has to because he's so good. But the Bills at linebacker with Milano's injuries the last 2 years and losing, they let Terrell Dodson go in free agency. It's the biggest problem on their team. I don't know if they have the lowest graded linebackers in the league, but it's probably close. I'll take Stutzman. I honestly don't. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know that Stutzman is actually going to go in the first round, but for the need thing and what we have on the board here, I'll go with Stutzman. I might have taken Harold Perkins if he didn't have the torn ACL, honestly.
I think I'm going to do Harold Perkins here at 27. Because I understand torn ACL is brutal, and that's a really tough look for him, but I think Mike McDonald having that kind of speed in the middle of his defense, and like I said, we've always said with Harold Perkins Jr., he needs to go to a defensive-minded coach who is going to use him properly, which means put him everywhere. Don't pigeonhole him as a linebacker. Don't pigeonhole him as an edge defender. Let him play everywhere. And I trust Mike McDonald is one of those coaches. I think he's one of the best defensive minds that we have in the NFL right now. I think he would love to have a guy like Harold Perkins in his defense who would be a full-time linebacker, but also as a situational pass rusher that could use help in that pass rush still. I think Harold Perkins Jr. is a guy that Mike McDonald, even with the torn ACL, would love in their defense. So I would still take him at 27 here to the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, I think I'm for Pittsburgh at, what are we at, 28?
Yep.
I think I'm between two guys. It's going to sound weird. But I'm between those first two guys on the board.
Okay.
I actually think, look, Cam Hayward is playing spectacular football. I think he's leading all defensive tackles in overall grade right now. But he's 35, 36 years old. The Steelers are one of the few teams that'll still get in a five-man front, that old 3-4 sometimes. And I do actually think that is the best fit for Mykel Williams.
You don't like Nick Herbig, though, and Alex Highsmith?
I do.
Are you putting it at
but it's like the 5-tech thing.
Yeah.
It's this Cam. It's actually as the heir apparent to Cam Hayward.
I like that.
Not as the edge. No, he's not moving Watt and Highsmith anywhere off of the edge. I think very much like Darius Robinson last year, Mykel Williams is a tweener. I understand the potential. He's a really good run defender. He's got to work on the pass rush stuff. He's been hurt early in this season. He's got the talent. I think as develop him, and as whenever Cam Hayward retires, which he may never, as well as he's playing, he's got over a 90 grade right now at 35 years old. This is an idea for me where I go, you know what, Mykel Williams, learning from Cam Hayward and Mike Tomlin's defense and the way they still kind of sometimes go with a five-man front. Keanu Benton is a monster on the inside too. I think this is the right environment. This is a place where Mykel Williams, because we've talked about it. He is not anywhere near fully developed yet as a football player. He's got technique things to work on. I think Williams, I'm going to take Williams in Pittsburgh, and I think you do it with the idea that Cam Hayward's role is what it's going to be for him when Hayward leaves.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think Mykel Williams would be a guy that, again, Mike Tomlin would coach up well too, so I like that a lot. So Mykel Williams, 28 to the Steelers. 29 here is weird because the Texans don't really have too many holes, and clearly, as they're number 29 right now in the draft order. But I'm looking at a few options here. I think, Joe Mixon obviously is not a long-term answer, but I don't know if I would take Quinshon Judkins in the first round, even though he's the number 19 player on PFF's big board.
This is a team that could do it, though.
They could. They also need interior line really bad.
Do we have one?
Booker? Would you take Booker this high?
I don't know if we have Brails, where we have Brails.
Because Kenyon Green has not been good so far. And Shaq Mason's getting up there in age.
Yeah, I mean, you could take one of those Alabama guards and go that route. I don't hate that. I think you could take Judkins.
I could.
You could.
Two running backs in the first round.
I know, we're going to get fired from PFF.
Yeah. I mean,
we would get fired.
Hampton, too, if you liked Amarion Hampton enough. A lot of mileage, but...
Should I... Should I do it? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do Quinshon Judkins.
Oh boy, now we're in trouble.
We're legitimately.
I took one, and you took one to each get one running back.
This is the last PFF college football show. We're going to get fired immediately after this.
Two first-round backs. Oh boy.
But I think Quinshon Judkins is special, and I think in this kind of draft, there's not really that top-end talent. You just got to take guys that you think are really, really good football players. I think Quinshon Judkins is exactly that. So I'm taking Quinshon Judkins here to the Texans, who could use help at running back. Joe Mixon's not a long-term answer there at all, even though I know they paid him a lot of money. Dameon Pierce has seemingly been forgotten about in Houston. So, yeah, I think Quinshon Judkins with C.J. Stroud, with Nico Collins, with Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell, just get another star offensive player there. And there's not really an interior alignment I love here at 29, so I'm going to take Quinshon Judkins to the Texans at 29.
Okay. All right, the Bucs at 30 right now. I don't think they'll end the year at 30, but you never know. They're 3-1. They're playing well. We'll see. But if they ever got this guy, they would probably take him before 30. And if they ever got him at 30, I think Todd Bowles would run to the podium to take Kevin Winston.
Okay.
I just this is the type of player he likes to have around. A guy, he's aggressive. He's a sure tackler. He can do all sorts of things as a safety. Jordan Whitehead is there on a short-term contract, but you pair. And we mentioned best pair of safeties in the league before with McKinney and Starks. Antoine Winfield and Kevin Winston.
That might be it.
That's right up there too.
Yeah.
I think just what he brings, what him and Winfield would bring to their defensive backfield, and all the things Todd Bowles can do with them. I think if Kevin Winston was on if the Bucs were at 20 and Kevin Winston was on the board, he might run the car to the podium.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think to put him next to Winfield is that's nasty work in the Bucs secondary. I absolutely think he would do it.
Yep. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I'm going to go. So I have the Minnesota Vikings here. I'm going to go with. I think they need. I'm between an edge or a corner, but I think I'm going to go with Trevon Revell. I think he has a rare blend of size and speed, and I think that in Brian Flores' defense, he's going to prioritize that, and they need a lockdown corner. Revell still has a lot to work on. I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are, it seems like.
Man-to-man coverage, though, he can certainly do that. I think, and you get Mekhi Blackman back from injury next year. He tore his ACL in the preseason. Man-to-man coverage, Trevon Revell can do that, and Brian Flores likes to use it.
I was literally just going to say, I think this fits the defense of the man-to-man man-heavy defense that Brian Flores employs. So I'm going to go Trevon Revell here. I know he also, like Harold Perkins, is coming off a season-ending torn ACL. So hopefully he's healthy enough to wow people at the Combine. Because I think this is a guy that will wow people at the Combine if he's healthy to run and participate in drills. But even if not, I still think this fits a need for Minnesota. And also, I think this fits the defense that Brian Flores loves to run. So I think Trevon Revell makes a lot of sense here at 31 to the Vikings.
I like that. All right, I'm finishing it off. Man, Chiefs at 32 again. It just keeps...
Repeat.
It's a constant. This is tough because their glaring kind of weaknesses are because of the Rashee Rice injury and Travis Kelce getting a little older. Like, honestly, here's what I'll tell you. If Colston Loveland were on the board...
sprint it in.
Just go with it. Now we got 15 more years of this. If Colston Loveland were on the board, that's absolutely what I would do.
I would go Alec Aymaner here, I think.
I don't know that you necessarily need to do that. If you're healthy, you have Rice and Worthy, and they always put it together.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. But without Kelce, if he does retire, which I think is more likely than people think, you get like a big body in there. You know, like Rice and Worthy, well, great. They're not big body pass catchers.
You know, I don't think Reed values those guys as much as people think he does. I mean, he values route runners. Not that Alec's a bad route runner by any means, but I think he would need like a supreme. Like if Ibuka was in this spot, I think he might take Ibuka.
So Emory Jones then maybe
or
some tackle or Wyatt Milam. I will say, dude, Wyatt Milam is balling right now. He's a guy I really think is going to go up on the board. I still think
they want to give Kingsley Suamataia his shot, though. It's weird because it's hard to pinpoint a specific. I don't think they would do a running back here either.
No, not in Marion Hampton. I think they really like Pacheco.
Oh, really, they do. Love Pacheco's awesome. Yeah, he's like a top 10 back in the league.
I don't think they would take Hampton. I don't think they would do that, even though he's battling an injury. And I don't think they would do that.
You know, let me. Couple of guys here stick out to me. I think I'm leaning in on defensive line.
Okay.
And I want to see where are the Chiefs? Where are they struggling up front? They're kind of okay all the way around. We took George Karlaftis a couple years ago. You know what? Let me take the Cincinnati kid. Let's go Dante Corleone.
Ooh, okay.
Let's go with the Godfather.
Sneaking in the first
I think
round.
Beyond Chris Jones, Chiefs don't have a ton of defensive tackle depth. I think they have some guys off the edge. George Karlaftis is good, and I'm gonna go with Corleone and just go. You know what? He's really darn good. He's a solid pass rusher. He's an incredible run defender. This guy, you talk about plugging up the A-gaps. Dante Corleone can do it. It's a weird spot because I think right there for the Chiefs, the players that were near the top of the board, when you talk about, okay, they're not going to take a corner. They don't need corners or safeties, right? Edge player, you could. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that receiver. Maybe they could take another receiver, but I don't think they take another one after taking Worthy last year, and they just need Rice to get back healthy next year after what did it get confirmed as a torn ACL? I think
No, actually, I think he avoided a season-ending injury somehow.
Really? They got it. Because I saw they were getting a second opinion. I didn't see
someone said like Patrick Mahomes is working his voodoo magic because somehow I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I think a reporter said that Rashee Rice, it seems like right now, is not going to be out for the season.
I would say for the Chiefs, if wherever they are in this draft, that if Colston Loveland fell to them, that's who they're taking, and otherwise I'll go in the trenches. Let's go with the Godfather at 32 there, Dante Corleone from right here in Cincinnati.